By the time you watch this video, you might be one of 90% of Americans who will receive a $1,200 check directly deposited to their account. And you might be there wondering,
how do I get this check? Is it a loan? What do I do with it? What's going on here?
Just relax. It's actually one of the many factors of the 2020 stimulus package that was passed last Friday. And there's a lot more to this package, and this video would be way too long for us. I'm actually going to split it up into two parts. One being the details of the package, which will be this video, and the next one, which I'll release probably next week, which will describe a little bit more about how I personally feel with the knowledge that I have about the package itself. But if I had to summarize how I feel about it at this point, it would be something like this. So let's not wait any longer, but if you made it this far, then congratulations, you get to press that like button somewhere at the bottom of this screen, and make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. I would definitely appreciate that. But let's not waste any more time. It's a lot of information to go through, so let's get to it. What's up guys, my name is Derek Jackson, and today we're going to talk about the 2020 stimulus plan. And as I said before, it was passed unanimously last Wednesday by the Senate and then finally passed by the House of Representatives last Friday. And what it entails is a whopping total of about $2 trillion in supportive funds for this country. And that spans onto a bunch of plethoras of this economy, including, yes, potentially $1,200 in your pocket. Now, we'll definitely get into details of that. And this stimulus package covers a bit more than what I'm going to explain, but I'm going to go into a bit of detail what I feel are the most important aspects of it. And you may get a little bit of a hint on how I may sort of feel about it, which I'll definitely entail on my part 2 video. So make sure you check that out, and let's get started on dropping some fun facts. So there's a lot of information, like I've said, about the stimulus package that was passed. So I went on ahead and wrote a lot of it down because I couldn't memorize the whole thing, and I just want to make sure that I provide you guys with the most accurate information about this package. So don't mind me if you see me kind of pan over every now and then. But with that being said, let's get to the point. So again, this stimulus package has a whopping total of $2 trillion, which by the way is a ridiculous amount of money. But this is a bit about how it's going to be split up. So $250 billion is going to go directly towards payments to individuals and families. So the way that works is if you're an individual and you've shown in either your 2018 or your 2019, if you've already done it, tax returns that you've made at most $75,000, then you will receive a check of $1,200. You don't have to pay it back. It's all yours completely just to help you out. So that's the $1,200 I was referring to. And if you're married, if both of you don't make anything above $150,000 together, then you'll both receive a grand total of $2,400. And despite which category you're in, for every child you have below the age of 17 years old, you'll receive an extra $500. And for individuals and families, it actually does phase out by the amount that you make that's over $75,000 if you're individual, over $150,000 as a married couple. So you'll still qualify if you make a little bit more, but it does phase out up until if you're individual making $99,000 at most, or if you're a married couple that makes about $198,000 a year. According to your 2018 or your 2019 tax returns, if you hit that threshold, then you will unfortunately receive nothing. But hopefully you don't need it and you're doing good at this point. Another $350 billion is going towards small businesses, and the definition, in their opinion, of small businesses is any business with between 500 employees and 10,000 employees. Then you have a huge substantial amount of $500 billion that's going to go directly towards large in distress companies. That'll primarily be airports, warehouses, stuff that apparently keeps this economic world going round. And $250 billion will go towards unemployment benefits. Now that one's pretty interesting. How the unemployment benefits will work is that the United States government will provide an extra, and keep in mind, extra $600 towards anyone that's filed for unemployment, which is very important this period of time because as of last week, we've hit a high of over 3 million people filing for unemployment, which if I remember correctly, the highest prior to that was between 600,000 to 800,000. So we've substantially exceeded that. So that's definitely gonna help a lot of people. So that will go on top of whatever your state benefit is, and it will last for the duration of this year. Then we have another $117 billion going towards the medical industry. That being specifically $65 billion going directly towards hospitals, and the rest going to doctors, nurses, other employees, supplies, etc., which is pretty important because if you've listened to any podcasts about what's going on or the news, then you've heard a lot about the shortage of medical masks, which is pretty essential as far as the comfort level of wanting to work around patients who may have caught this virus during this pandemic, and obviously to prevent yourself from having it. So that'll be pretty important as well. And another $150 billion is going towards state and local governments to help make sure that they can afford to do whatever they need to do to prevent their state and their cities from spreading out this pandemic and increasing the number of people that have it and unfortunately have lost their lives to it. And of course you have other metrics within this stimulus package, including $450 million going to the emergency food assistance program, which is again ridiculously important, and $200 million going to Puerto Rico, which is also very important as well. Point is, there's a lot of importance in this bill, but I wanted to focus primarily on the small businesses, the large businesses, and the individual funds and the hospital funds, because those are really key important topics that will help hopefully re-stimulate this country in an economic basis. And I also have a whole lot of opinions on it. All right guys, so that was part one of this stimulus package video where I just summarized a lot of the details in regards to the stimulus package and how it's going to be split up fund-wise. But do not worry, as I said at the beginning of this video, the second part is coming up and I'll go into a little bit more detail of the plan and how I actually feel about the stimulus package overall. And once that video comes out, I'll leave a link up here so you guys can definitely watch that. But make sure you watch this first. But until then guys, take care.